Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how I make realistic bread pours out of polymer clay. First thing, go ahead and preheat your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I keep a tile in the oven to help stabilize the heat. For the dough color, I use 2 parts translucent Cernit, then I add 1 part white Premo, a lentil-sized pinch of yellow Premo, and a tiny touch of burnt umber Premo. I use translucent Cernit because when water is added, it stays flexible and the clay keeps its structure instead of breaking down. Now we're going to condition our clay. Take your time and work it until the color is totally even. No streaks, no marbling. It should feel warm and smooth. If you see any lines, keep conditioning. This step matters because it gives you a consistent base before we add baking powder and water. Perfect, it's fully blended, now we can move forward. Alright, now we're going to grab your measuring teaspoon. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of clay for this step. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as close as possible. Now we're going to get out our magic baking powder. I'm going to measure out just a little less than half a teaspoon, so about 2 mils, and then I'm going to set it aside. Next, I'm just making sure my water is ready. I like a spray bottle because it gives me control, but small drops work too, so you can just get a little cup of water. Here I'm just folding in the water until it's fully incorporated into the dough, adding little by little at a time. Polymer clay is oil-based, so the water doesn't soak in like regular clay. It just softens it a bit and helps everything blend more evenly. Since the clay is warm, the moisture spreads through instead of sitting in one spot. Yeah, that feels about right. It's gonna feel like warm bubblegum. Now we're gonna start adding our baking powder. As you can see, it's really sticky, so I've got to move fast. By adding the baking powder, we're setting up for those little air pockets that will form later on in the oven. This part can be a bit of a snore, but I promise the end result is worth it. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding water again. Just a few spritz though. We don't want it too tacky. This is going to start activating the baking powder. We have to work fast so the air pockets don't collapse. It should stretch like bubble gum again. Here I'm getting out my cornstarch so the clay doesn't stick to my hands. A light dusting is all we need. So a quick note, I work directly on a ceramic tile so I can move it in and out of the oven easily without distorting my bagels. Once I've rolled it into a ball, I'm going to gently pat it down because it will rise once we put it into the oven and we don't want it to puff up like a ball. Again, let's work quickly so the pores don't collapse. Here I'm adding a little bit of cornstarch to the tip of my dotting tool so that the clay doesn't stick to it. Okay, For this next step, I'm using an eyeshadow palette and a soft eyeshadow brush to add pigment to my bagels. So I really like doing this before baking because the raw clay really grabs the powder and it gives this soft, airbrushed golden crust. I'm going to start with a warm golden shade and lightly dust it over the top. So a quick note, you won't be able to do both sides while it's raw without distorting the shape. If you flip it at this stage, you'll press into the pores and lose that texture. So I always do the top first, bake it, and then once it's firm, I'll flip it over and add pigment to the backside. That way it keeps its structure. Let's go ahead and place our piece into the oven. Once it's in, the heat starts activating everything. The baking powder begins to form tiny air pockets inside, and those are what create the realistic bread texture. Bake for about 15 to 20 minutes depending on size. Smaller pieces will bake faster, and the larger ones, well, they might need a little bit longer. Once it's done baking, take it out and let it cool for a little bit before handling. Okay, here's where it gets exciting. Let's slice it open with our X-Acto knife to reveal what's inside. It should almost feel rubbery when you're cutting it. Oh my goodness, look at those bread pores. Absolute perfection. Flexible, spongy, and no crumbling at all. Let me know in the comments how it worked out for you. Well, tiny bakers, I hope this inspires you to bake with clay. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on my next tutorial. Thanks for watching, everyone.